Brocky, keep talking about whiskey and
A little
kicks.
bit, but it's simple with Brocky, baby. We here is Whiskey and Kicks. Your boy Brocky's here. And I got a special guest today, my guy, Beau Chapman. What's good, brother?
Hey, what's going on, man? Long time no see.
I know last time we tried to do this, the technical difficulties led to the video being completely lost. So let's see how this goes. I had to wait long enough to forget everything we talked about before.
It's been long enough too, so I'm sure you've had plenty of time to forget.
Yeah, man. How you doing, man?
I'm doing good. I mean, you know what's been going on, man. Nursing some injuries, trying to get back healthy, starting to feel good again, starting to get out there a little bit. So
Okay, so I had that in my notes. So what was the injury? What happened?
oh man. So I actually have several injuries. I'm getting old. So my main injury, I tore my Achilles. I had loaded a gun safe onto a trailer and the end was hanging off. And I went to just push it, run up and just push it. And I was on the ball of my feet and that thing snapped and I fell to the ground. And let me tell you something, all you KD haters out there, I can tell you now, after having this injury, the fact that that man can do what he does right now, he is my new favorite player because it's been 4 months since this has happened. I can still barely walk. I can't even run. There's no way I can even run. And that man's out there a year. Yeah, that man's out there a year later dunking a basketball and scoring 20-something points a game. So much respect.
So, they have the state of the art trainers and doctors tending to them day after day after day.
Hey,
rotating those guys. So
Hey, I don't care. I still got a lot of respect because this is one of the toughest injuries to rehab, and I am a KD fan now.
And not only you're a KD fan, but you're actually a MMA type of person. So you've had injuries and been through some tough shit. But this has been the mother of all injuries, huh?
Yeah. That and just I've got arthritis now in my rotator cuff. I tore my labrum.
Is that from sparring and stuff?
Yeah, that's from grappling and doing a lot of posting on the arm and a lot of trauma there. It just over time, it finally gave out. And I didn't have surgery here. I actually took a steroid shot. And remember this, I've been doing cool laser therapy. That is the thing. If you're not doing cool laser therapy for your injuries, you're messing up because it has kept me from having to have surgery. Yes, it's amazing.
I never heard of that. So what is it?
So it's just this low intensity laser that you put a spot and they just sit there and just put the laser on it and it activates a bunch of cells in the area that starts activating that repair cycle and it repairs it really fast. And I've done about six treatments and I've gotten where I don't feel any pain. And literally 2 weeks ago, I couldn't pick up anything. So
so this is within 2 weeks. That's crazy.
Yeah, man. I've been drinking a lot of whiskey, believe me.
A
lot of whiskey.
What you sipping on, man?
So, all right, I don't mean to flex my guns, Brocky, but it's been a while.
Hey, man.
I watched that movie. If you haven't seen Heist on Netflix, they talk about the Pappy Heist. Well, I got a little Pappy Lot B, little 12 year there. So that's what I'm sipping on.
That's actually my favorite one out of the Pappy line.
Really?
That's my favorite one. The 15 is good too, but the older ones, I don't really. Yeah. When I had them, I didn't really care for them too much.
It gets a little woody. I'm a 15-year guy myself, but I don't really have $2,000 to go throw around. Being a married guy.
Yeah. When it comes to those guys, when it comes to those puppies, it's like you're gonna pay for the poor. You're not paying for the bottom unless you're a madman. So I have a Woodford Reserve store pick. So
nice.
Yeah, it's a nice pour, man. I never get tired of Woodford Reserve, even the regular stuff. And to have a store pick is really nice. So
now let me educate your listeners. I don't know, man. You might have talked about this already, but so if you've got a nice bottle in your collection and you're using an old cork, you are playing with fire that cork will break off and it will rot and it will mess up your whiskey. So I have bought a lot of man-made corks.
Nice.
And they're cheap as could be. Synthetic cork. Yeah, I bought like 40 of them. And all my bottles that I have open, put it in there, and I don't have to worry about anything.
You got that right. That's a good point because sometimes you can buy a bottle, get it home, and open it up, and that cork starts giving out, depending on how long the bottle is sitting on the shelf. So that's a great point, man, because, yeah, I never even thought about something like that.
Well, I destroyed a very nice bottle of whiskey because the cork tore off and it fell into the bottle, and all I could taste was cork for the rest of the bottle. So,
damn, you didn't
don't learn the hard way out there.
Yeah, lesson learned, man.
But I brought something else for show and tell.
Oh, what you got?
So my uncle gave me this. He saw my whiskey collection. He's like, man, you got to have this. So this is my great grandfather. He got his own personalized bottle of Old Forester. Now, there's nothing in this. I wish there was, but this is a 1946 Old Forester bottle, and that is my great grandfather. So
wow. So wait a minute. There's no whiskey in there, though, right? It's just a bottle.
No, unfortunately, there's no whiskey. It's just a bottle.
Wow,
but
that is beautiful.
I thought it was pretty cool because it's part of the fam. So.
That's extremely cool, yo. You should keep that forever.
Yeah, I put that in the middle. There's the whiskey collection there. It goes right in the middle, so it's pretty nice.
So did you know that existed in your family, or you found out?
No, I did. He asked me the day. He said, "What's your address?" And I gave it to him. And then next thing I know, that shows up, and he said, I saw your whiskey collection and thought maybe you'd appreciate this. And I was like,
That's
"Oh, heck
crazy.
yeah!"
So for whoever's watching and whoever follows Whiskey and Kicks and supports me, I appreciate it. Beau is the person. He is the man who got me into whiskey. He used to live out here in the DMV where it's sweet and lovely. And for some reason, he decided to move back to Oklahoma.
I'm so glad that you admit that, because now you're all decked out in whiskey gear and you're like the whiskey god. And I'm glad that you remember your roots.
I tell that story all the time. So let me tell the story once again. So
love it.
Beau and I, and a few friends, we decided to go to Jack Rose. Beau's suggestion, of course. I had never even heard of Jack Rose before. Been in the area since 1994, and this year is the first time I'm ever hearing of and going to this place called Jack Rose. So we go in there, and I'm a rum guy at this point, right? So Beau orders something. I know what it is right now, but I'll tell you in a minute. So he orders something. It comes out on a tray. There's a metal tray. There's a water dropper, a glass, another glass of ice, I believe. And then they brought the bottle. It was George T. Stagg, right? So I'm like, I still don't know what the hell's going on, right? I know nothing about whiskey. All I'm thinking about is some kind of rum. Probably has some kind of rum drink. I don't know. Beau says they pour it for him. They measure out, I don't know if you got an ounce or two. And he says, here, man, just go ahead and taste this. He said, don't drink it. Just let it touch your lips, and that's it. I said, okay, cool. Boom. I do that. It touched my lips, and every pore in my body opened up.
Hooked.
Every pore in my body opened up. I said, what the hell is this? And that was my first introduction to whiskey, and it just took off from there, man. So, yeah,
that's
I think that.
Now you're a whiskey mogul. Now, don't forget me when you get rich and you got the Carmel house on the beach, the whiskey pad. Don't forget me.
Hey, man, just get that injury straight. You know what I'm saying? Get on a plane and come on out. Wherever we are, man. You know what I'm saying? Come on out. Hang out.
I'm trying.
It's been a year. How long you been gone now?
Let's see. I left there in 2018, 19. I left there in 2000 and what is it, 21?
16 and 17?
Yeah, it's 2016. I was thinking it's 2018, but no, it's 2016. I can't believe it's been 5 years.
That's
wow.
Crazy, dude. How's the married life, man? The family life, actually.
It's good. I don't get the expensive bottles of bourbon anymore. I do a lot of bargain hunting. So I try to go over in Arkansas where Uncle Billy Bob, he doesn't know what he's got, and so I try to find really good bottles that would be really expensive anywhere else that they just don't know what they have, and I buy them for pretty cheap. So that's my game.
That culture, the whiskey culture out there in Oklahoma. What city or town are you in?
So I'm in Stonewall, Oklahoma. No one will know where that's at.
Uh-huh.
It's outside of Ada. Nobody knows where that's at. But it's about an hour and a half from Oklahoma City. People hopefully will know where that's at.
Right. So the whiskey culture out there where you are compared to how, DC, it's bigger and all that kind of stuff. So you're gonna have access to more. But what is the difference? What did you notice immediately like as far as accessibility and availability of whiskey?
Yeah, it's just harder to get things out here. We've got different whiskey laws. Obviously, we're not near the big whiskey centers, so it's really hard to get access to the good bottles. Obviously, there's a lot of outlaw culture out here. So the big thing here is moonshine. I'm not talking the moonshine that you buy on the shelf, the apple pie. I'm talking the legit White Dog, make your face turn purple moonshine. And so that's really big out here. Jack Daniels is huge out here. We are just now starting to develop what I would say is a pretty strong whiskey culture, that people that love the finer whiskeys. We can't get Buffalo Trace here. I don't know why. I've got an uncle that sends it to me from Arizona. He ships me like 5 at a time. We are able to get Wellers, which when I was out in DC, I couldn't get any Wellers. So here you get Wellers, no problem.
How no Buffalo Trace, but you can get Weller? I don't understand.
I have no idea. You can't find Buffalo Trace anywhere here.
Wait a minute. Is it because it sells out really fast, or it doesn't? You can't
get it. You just can't get it. I've talked to every liquor store, and they're like, "We've tried. We just can't get it."
Holy crap! But you can get Pappy? Oh, okay. All right.
This was somebody actually gave me this, so I was lucky to get that.
Yo, did you watch that documentary about the bourbon heist?
Yes,
Netflix?
That's why I pulled out the old Pappy. I thought I've been watching that, so I thought that'd be pretty nice to have. And I haven't had Pappy in probably 2 years. I've had that bottle sitting there and I hadn't had any. So
yeah, I have mine sitting on. It probably has the same amount as yours, and I sip it every now and then. It's really good, but I don't find it to be miles ahead of any, a lot of other whiskeys like Weller. I think you even told me how to create a poor man's Pappy, I think.
Yeah.
Like this combination of these different whiskeys.
Yeah, you get the Weller 12 and you get the Weller Reserve and mix that up. I mean, I love the antique collection. So the high end William LaRue Weller, to me, that's the best whiskey there is. I love it. And of course, George C. Stagg is probably number 2, maybe number 1. But I agree with you. Pappy is outstanding, but it's far from the best, and it's definitely not far and away the best.
Right. Didn't you have a bottle of the William that bottle of the Weller?
Yep, I still got a bottle in the collection back there. I try to drink that sparingly because that is my favorite whiskey by far.
Okay, that's one of the questions I was gonna ask you too. Which one is your absolute favorite? So it's cool that you can actually pinpoint, because my shit changes daily.
No, I'm with you, man. But I've always liked William LaRue Weller. It's 140 proof. And it goes down like velvet. If you don't watch out, that will get you in trouble. But another one that people would be surprised by that I love, and it's one of my favorite, and I don't know if any of your listeners have had it, but it's Garrison Brothers out of Texas. And it's it's very expensive for a little known, just little boutique whiskey. It's like $80, but man, every time I have it, it's just this sweet corn taste, and I can't keep it on the shelf. I love it so much. It's
Word. Okay, I've seen that multiple times, but I've never had it. Yeah. I've never heard it spoken of like that.
Well, they're starting to get popular, so they put out an 80 proof brand. Don't get the 80 proof brand. Just go for the 90 proof, or go for the Cowboy, which is like 120 proof, but that's way expensive. So get you a 90 proof Garrison Brothers and just taste it. And just taste. They use this white panhandle corn that you can. It's native to Texas, and it is so sweet and so good, and tastes just like the sweet corn. Oh, it's amazing.
So I had because we're talking a lot about bourbon here. I had an Ardbeg, the national brand ambassador for Ardbeg whiskey, on the show last weekend. I'm editing now, and I'm going to put that out soon. And this Scotch whiskey guy, and bourbon came up during the conversation, and it went. He was kind of like, and he was talking about how bourbon is so handcuffed by the restrictions and the laws, where you can only use, toasted, charred white oak barrels or whatever to create it, and that limits it quite a bit. But somehow you get all these different flavors, I find, across these different brands of bourbon, and I think that there's a lot to be said about that.
No, I agree. First off, let me say, I love Scotch. I love Ardbeg. You know, I got before I started drinking bourbon, I drank Scotch. So I love Scotch and I love peaty Scotch. But yeah, there's something to be said for whatever reason. And if it's stored in different locations around the US, you can taste that. Now, I don't know if there's something going on with that ocean bourbon by Jefferson that's like carried on a ocean cruiser for whatever. Right. I bought that twice, and I swear to you, I can taste the sea salt in that.
The salt,
I can taste it.
Yeah.
And so I agree with you, and I think it's cool that there's something to be said about Scotch, about all the different flavors and types of Scotch you can have. But there's also something really cool about within these real strict parameters, you can still have this wide range of tastes. So I've got respect for both things. I love Scotch and I love bourbon.
Me too. I mean, I didn't like Scotch at first. I told him that. And then I got introduced to it at Jack Rose through some DC whiskey library, I believe. They treated me to some Scotch. And I'm like, this is not bad, you know what I'm saying? But it's so scary because when you see a Scotch brand, let's say Ardbeg, you go to the store and you have like 6 or 7 different art brands. And it's like, Jesus Christ, what if I like all of these? Like, I'm going to break the bank. You know?
Well, I did the reverse. I actually was drinking Scotch before I got into bourbon. So I was in Scotch first.
Yeah, indeed. So how'd you get introduced to whiskey yourself? I don't think I've ever asked you this.
Oh, man, it's a long story. Are you ready for this?
Go for it.
I mean, obviously, I grew up in rural Oklahoma, so all we had is Bud Light and Coors Light, and I never liked it. I tried so hard to be cool and like it, and I just never did. And so I grew up trying to find something I liked, and I just couldn't find it. And then I went over to Germany, and I got into wine, and I kind of liked it, and I found that there were good beers, and I liked that sort of thing. So that was my drink. And so when I came back to the States, I worked for this guy. And he sits down, he's drunk as could be. And he was my supervisor, pretty wealthy guy. And he sits down his glass and he goes, drink this. And I said, what is it? He goes, it's whiskey, drink it. And I said, but I don't like it. What is it? He goes, it's Scotch, just drink it. And I said, but I don't like it. He goes, that's $100 pour of Scotch. You better drink it. And so like you, he taught me, just put it and sip it and just taste it. And I did that and I loved it. And so I was into peaty Scotches there for the longest time. And then I started thinking about it. I go, I'd like to try something that's American. And I started looking around, what can I like that's American? And that's where I stumbled upon bourbon. And bourbon is uniquely American. There's nothing outside of the US that could be called bourbon.
Period.
So because I had the knowledge of how to drink whiskey, I drank bourbon and I loved it. And the rest is history.
That's crazy, man. It's similar to how you introduced me to whiskey, the same way. I mean, you didn't have to force me, but that's nuts, man. That's a dope story. And just to add another story to our whiskey history. So after that, you introduced me to the Stag. There's another party. We were going to a party, and I'm like, okay, well, I'm going to this person's house and down in Virginia somewhere, and I'm like, let me go to the store and get something. So I go to the store, I see a cool looking bottle, I grab it, boom, I buy this bottle of whiskey. We go down to the party, and I'm like, I brought some whiskey. We plowed through this entire bottle in one night. It was a fucking bottle of Blanton's. That was the first actual pour of whiskey I ever had, was some Blanton's, and we destroyed the entire bottle in one night.
You killed that entire bottle in one night. You kept going, that bourbon, that Blanton bourbon, that Blanton bourbon. That's all you kept saying. That Blanton bourbon, that Blanton bourbon.
I was out of there that night.
I love it, man.
That's good stuff, man.
That was.
So, when you live here, I lived in Maryland the entire time. And you were in Virginia. I live in Virginia now. I don't see how you did this. It sucks.
Now you know why I'm in Oklahoma, man. It's terrible.
But what I'm talking about, just access to whiskey.
I know.
The ABC shit is the worst.
I know. I mean, I probably shouldn't tell everybody because it'll be huffing up to Maryland. But Maryland's got the best selection. But I will say the only reason I have the entire antique collection is because I went into one of those stores and I wrote my name down on the special order list that I wanted George C. Stagg and I wanted Eagle Rare 18 and I wanted William LaRue Weller. And it took 2 years, but I finally got every single thing that I ordered. I couldn't believe it.
Oh, wow. At regular price, too.
At regular price, $120. You will never find that for 120 anywhere.
Ever.
So,
ever. I haven't even seen the Eagle Rare 18 on the shelf. I have the regular one here. Yeah.
You won't see it. The only way you can get it is you write your name down in that special order and you just wait. And I'll be darned, sooner or later, you get it. It's crazy.
2 years. So let me ask you a question, man. Do you ever regret not retiring from the Air Force?
Oh, wow. That's a good question. I do think about it a lot. I mean, I am 43, so technically I'd still have a year left. That shows you how much I think about it. I do think about having that money rolling in each month and just the freedom that it provides.
Yeah.
But then I start thinking about all the good times I had when I was in DC, and I'm like, man, that was so much worth it. So I wish I had the money, but man, we had some good times. So I don't regret it.
I'm telling you, we had some really good, a lot of fun, and like I think about that sometimes myself. And I did 7 years. You went the officer route. You were a pilot. You're a pilot, weren't you?
Mm-mm. No, I was an intel officer.
Oh, intel. Okay.
Yeah.
So, and I was enlisted and, man, I did 7 years and got out. So I think about that sometimes, but then I think, man, if I would have stayed in, they would have sent me to like Nebraska or some shit. Like,
you mean, Brocky in Nebraska.
Can you picture that shit? Like,
you're in Omaha. Where's my pappy, damn it?
Who knows what I'd be doing? I'll probably be somewhere drinking vodka drinks and shit like that. And look, shout out to my vodka friends. Nothing against you guys, but you know what I mean? Come on.
Yeah, vodka is very exciting, let me tell you. I'm kidding. Kidding.
So what else is up, man? Like, what's on the horizon, man? How's the professional life and all that kind of stuff? Any moves you making? Travel coming up?
It's going good. I was a proposal manager for like 13 years, high stress, having to deal with 20 people from 5 different companies, and none of them have to answer to you. I've moved over. I'm a solutions architect now for my company, which is the Delaware Nation. Okay. And it's a lot easier. I'm working usually 9 to 5. Occasionally I got to work weekends. Occasionally I got to work late. So it's been a huge blessing. I mean, I'm living the slow life, and I got to be honest, I'm looking toward retirement, and I'm thinking, okay, I've got, maybe another 7 to 12 years in me, and then I'm ready to just chill out.
Yeah, you in a good space to be able to do that out there. Like here,
yes.
You know what I'm saying? And I'm living a completely different life. Like I'm trying to find a way to get paid doing what I love, and I'll just do this shit till the day I die. Like I don't want to retire. I'd rather do this until the day I die if I can get paid for it.
I don't blame you, man. I mean, what's better than sitting around drinking whiskey and talking to buddies? I mean, that's the best thing there is. I mean, I've thought about, when I retire, just opening up a bar and just making enough money that I could buy more things to drink and then just have my buddies come out and drink and just have a good time. So, you start learning what life's all about in these later years.
You got that right. So, okay, great segue. Your life right now, the way it is compared to what you thought your life would be at this stage of your life, does it match up? Is it completely different?
No, dude, there's no way in hell. God, do you think I chose to live in Stonewall, Oklahoma? No.
I mean, when you were young, you lived in Oklahoma, so maybe in your mind, this was going to be right.
Man, in my mind, I was living in Florida on the beach. I had freaking 10, 20-year-olds laying in my bed, and no, I mean, this isn't what I thought it would be, but I'm happy though, man. I mean, it's slow and I enjoy it. We've got 160 acres out here. It's peaceful. I get out there. I got 2 dogs. I get out there with my dogs. I walk. I drink. I got a big porch and I can watch the sun go down. I drink whiskey. I smoke a cigar. I do it almost every night. I drink whiskey and smoke a cigar and watch the sun go down.
That's
and I mean, there's something to be said for that, you know. I mean, I miss DC. Don't get me wrong, I miss it, but man, the traffic will drive you nuts.
It
And
sure
here,
will, man. And
man,
bro, I've been home for years, like two straight years at least. I've been working from home or home unemployed. All right.
mhm,
I'm in the contractor life still, man. So,
yes,
contracts end and shit like that. So I don't miss that traffic, man. I think I'm gonna be traumatized when I have to go back to an office.
yeah, the traffic will drive you nuts. And I got a great supervisor. He looks at it as this is our department. And let me tell you, man, if you're young out there and you're in your 30s or 20s, quality of life is huge.
It is.
There is no money in the world that can take up for quality of life. That's the best thing in the world.
It is. And I'm starting to notice some of these companies are trying to add that as one of their values,
Mhm.
like quality of life for their employees. So they want to make sure you can have time off. And
Mhm.
I talked to one company recently. I was interviewing and stuff, and they're like, "We don't have PTO. If you need to take time, you just take it, no matter what." Like,
Yeah.
that's just it's part of their concept and whatnot. This whole quality of life thing, giving you time at home, letting you work remotely and stuff like that. Even in your previous, but in our industry, working from
Mhm.
home is a thing, and it's been a proven concept during COVID because everybody's been home and it's been working.
Yeah, I mean, I get to work home from anytime I want now. I go to the office once or twice a week. I don't have to, but they prefer me to come in twice a week, which is fine. And I love the people I work with so much. I love going in. I enjoy going in. Sometimes I go in 3 times a week. But
Yeah.
it's not so much getting to work from it's not so much getting to work from home. It's that flexibility. You know, if I want to work from home, I can. If I want to go to the office, I can. You know, you're not being treated like you're a number or cattle.
Yeah,
They
yeah.
give you the option. It's like, I just need you to do A, B, and C. Get that done, and you do whatever you want.
Yeah,
So
that's
yeah,
a
I
beautiful
think it's
thing,
great.
man. That's good, man. I can tell, man. You seem, outside of your injuries, you seem pretty stressed right now. You know what I'm saying? Look like you
Yeah,
got hair
man.
growing. What's going on, man?
Yeah, I got a little hair going. You
You got
know, I got a
hair
little
growing?
hair. You know, now don't get me wrong. This isn't, not growing a mullet or anything. You know, I got my my hairdresser. You know, he's gonna make sure that I don't have a mullet, but
Yeah, no, hey,
I'm
man,
growing
you
it
better grow
out.
it
I'm
out.
growing it out a little bit.
Hey, the
So
older I get, the less hair I have. Oh, you growing your shit out. You about to have a ponytail in a minute. What's going on here?
no, I'm not doing the ponytail. Don't even say that. You're gonna get everybody thinking, oh man, Beau, he's really gonna hit with the old ponytail. But
Well, yeah, man. It's always good catching up, man. We don't talk a whole lot, but randomly we can go. You and I, we can go 6 months without talking, and all of a sudden, Bo would text me, Steph Curry's lighting it up like in the finals and shit. And I'm like, y'all ever heard this dude? And that's how it always is. It's always we pick up right where we left off, man. And I appreciate that about the relationship.
oh, it's great, man. I mean, that's what I love. It's one thing I love about whiskey, man. I mean, what is this dude from Rochester? What does he have in common with this dude from rural Oklahoma? Nothing.
Yeah.
But when we drink whiskey together, we got everything in common. And I wish the world would just sit down and drink whiskey together. Because if we did, we'd all realize we got a lot of similarities.
You're
And we
right
all
about
want the
that.
same things.
Yeah.
And the world would be a lot better, man. A lot better.
Man, that's what's up. That might be a damn t-shirt right there. I might have to write that shit down.
Hey, make sure I get my royalty, all right?
I'll let you know how it goes. We'll pour a little bit more, man, so we can cheers it up one more time. My guy Bo, man. I appreciate you, brother. You know what I'm saying? Cheers to
Cheers,
you.
man.
And recover, get that injury together, and get back out there, man. Watch, loading them gun safes and shit like that, man. You know what I'm saying?
I know it. What's more hick than loading a gun safe? You know,
That's the most Oklahoma shit you could possibly do.
it truly is. It truly is. Everybody in DC is like, "What's a gun safe? What is that?"
I'm gonna have to go Google that shit right now. But I'm in Virginia now, man, so I'm about to strap up.
Oh yeah, you know that.
Yeah. So, all right, man. Take care, brother.
All right.
And I'll
Thanks
talk
for
to you
having me,
soon.
man. All right, sounds good. See you guys.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Brocky, keep talking about whiskey and kicks.